Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a reading for Taurus rising, or if you have significant Taurus placements in your chart and are needing a neutral energy to help balance masculine and feminine energies within yourself, then this reading is for you. So Taurus, we're going to start with the overall context of the reading. We have here the King of Cups and the Hermit, which I'm actually seeing as your energy today, because it kind of feels like you're about to go on, or you are going through perhaps currently some sort of emotional journey is kind of how this is feeling. With the King of Cups, it does require a lot of strength. I want to say it does feel like it's some sort of like with the Hermit, it's kind of like you're discovering something about some sort of emotional journey. And then you have here the Queen of Cups, who I feel like is kind of like this, a support character or something like that, like a friend or something that's like kind of inviting you to take this journey sort of with them is kind of how it's coming through. Because you have here like the Magician and the Temperance card, which is really interesting because this Temperance card in this deck especially looks like kind of like stepping into the water, right? So it's kind of like, I feel like this one here is inviting you, Taurus, like step into the water, whatever that means for you. It could be like journeying into sort of an emotional state. It feels kind of like a retrograde energy, just because we are entering Mercury retrograde now. And so, as I've said in many other videos, that when Mercury retrograde happens, it usually invites us to sort of take a step back into a past energy. So it could be past situation, past relationship, past whatever, in order to sort of gain the gem. How I normally see Mercury retrograde, how it's coming through, is kind of like when it's not in retrograde, we're sort of like traveling forward, we're moving forward, we're going along the path. But then it's like you forgot something at home is kind of how I see Mercury retrograde. And so it's like you have to go back to collect that thing that you need that you forgot at home in order to go forward or go towards wherever you're going, because you're going to need that thing, right? That's how I'm sort of seeing this reading today, is that there's something that you've forgotten from the past that you need. And it's kind of like, it's feeling kind of like it's like, it's not, this energy is not going to let you go until you find that thing, is kind of how that's feeling, which I'm not saying, because I do feel that you are finding it, whatever that is, you are finding whatever this thing is. But it's kind of just like it may be sort of a process, is kind of how that's feeling. Especially here as well, because you have here the Gift. So I'm seeing this as like another person, right? Or like the thing that you forgot at home, right? Whatever that means. The home today is representing just like your inner self, is kind of how it's feeling. With the Lullaby, this card I see is sort of being like an unseen influence, right? There's something at a distance that's pulling on you, but perhaps you are not seeing it or recognizing it for what it is. There's something there that you're needing to take a closer look at, is kind of how it's feeling. And especially with these cards as well, because the first card out you have here, the Collective of Pixies, which is really interesting because this kind of talks about like responsibility or being part of a group, or but also specifying like doing your best to participate in whatever task this is with as much like joy as possible, right? Like doing things that are necessary, but with like the most positive attitude that you can in the situation. I'm kind of feeling, Taurus, like before this reading, as I was getting prepared for it, it was just kind of feeling like you're like not feeling motivated to do something, perhaps, like because kind of feeling like, especially with some of the other cards coming through, that there may be like a long list of things that you're needing to accomplish, or like telling yourself that you need to accomplish, because this comes with like responsibility and duty. So there may be like a lot of things that you're having to do, or a lot of things on your plate, or just like a lot of things just coming up, is kind of how it's feeling. And it's kind of like I feel like that's sort of the energy of like it's coming up for a reason. There's something that's being shown to you through this. I don't know. We'll get into the cards of what that is, but these three cards coming out sort of these were also at the bottom of the deck. Arvo Parrot, Singer of Intuition, and Ilby the Retriever. So this like these two cards especially are talking about like the throat chakra, but it's like something, because this Retriever card talks about like something that you've forgotten, and this one's holding on to it. So it could even be something like somebody in your group or your collective or your family or whatever has some sort of perhaps truth for you, and they're holding on to it because it's kind of like you have to discover what that truth is. It's not like, it's kind of coming in with this energy of like, you know, sometimes when you're not ready to hear the truth, even if someone were to say it to you, it would just go through one ear and out the other, right? So it's kind of like that thing where it's like, this is the type of thing where you have to go in search of it, or you have to be ready to hear it, or you have to be willing to engage with this energy in order to get the full benefit of it. Because if you don't, it's kind of just like it's just going to go in one ear and out the other kind of energy. That's what this is feeling like. Because I feel like the reason why this is happening is in order for you to gain some sort of knowledge about the past, perhaps like a specific pattern or something like that, that's going to help you. So like once you clear it, the next part of your journey will go much smoother, right? So that's the overall context of your reading. We're going to go into the actual reading part. So the first card to come out here, which I really love, Singer of the Chalice, it was just coming through as like the cup of unconditional love, which is absolutely this energy of like the Ace of Cups, right? But it's also kind of coming in with all of this energy of like accepting everything that comes to you, because it's kind of like there's something coming in, it feels like, that is perhaps difficult in some way, or it's bringing up some sort of past memory that perhaps you're not wanting to look at, because what's coming through next with it is this. So here, first of all, here, the Art of Seduction, which I feel like is a past relationship of some sort, or it could just be a past situation, or it could even be recent. I don't know. It's kind of feeling to me like a retrograde kind of energy, but it doesn't have to be, depending on you and your situation and when you're finding this reading as well. But what came out underneath this is all of this energy. So first of all, Ace of Swords, right? It's like the truth is coming in. And then you have here the Ten of Swords and the Eight of Swords, which is really difficult energies, right? Like this is the Ten of Swords and the Eight of Swords are both really stuck energies. So it could be that there was a past energy here, or you're getting the truth about a situation that is difficult in some way. I was kind of seeing this, I got this sort of intuition about, like, I just saw somebody who got shot in the shoulder, right? Like there was like a gunshot wound in their shoulder, missed their heart, right? So it missed their heart, but still like it perhaps feeling like collateral damage or something like that. I don't know why that's coming in, but it could be something like, especially because of this card coming out next, right? The Elixir of Life, which is a tough card to come out after the Art of Seduction, right? Because it's like it kind of is feeling like a past relationship that didn't work out in some way, or that was actually like actively draining you. But perhaps you weren't seeing it like that in the beginning or something like that. And it's kind of like the truth of that is being revealed to you. And I feel it's just like the cup of unconditional love is here for you, just a reminder of that. But it's because it's kind of like, Well, it's coming out here with the star next, right? Which is really interesting. The star, which talks about healing, right? And all of this water that's being poured out. Because perhaps there was this energy here that was coming in that was requiring you to pour all of your energy into it, and perhaps you weren't seeing it as that. Because this elixir of life I often see as being a drain on your resources, right? Like a drain, or like it's something that you perhaps are not seeing as that, but it's like the truth of that is coming in, which is really tough. And then here you have the undressing of the salad and the abracadabra card. So this card, the undressing of the salad, is like accomplishing the impossible, but it was just looking like this is a list of things that you're having to deal with. It's kind of like just like a lot of tasks perhaps, or like every time you put one thing down, it's like another thing emerges, and it's kind of like this feeling of like, when will this end, is what this is feeling like, which is really interesting because the abracadabra card is coming out underneath this, which is talking about like, this is, I feel like you're being asked to use your skills in some way, right? With the abracadabra, it's like this is what you're good at, perhaps, or something like that. It's also kind of feeling like, so if this is, it might be two messages. I was kind of getting it like it's either one or the other, I'm not sure, or it could be both for you, where this is a past energy, a past relationship that failed, or this is a relationship or just an energy that you're wanting to move towards, right? Like it's like something or an energy like wanting to move towards somebody, or just a general energy of like romance or love or whatever. But you can't because all of these things are just being put on your plate, that kind of thing. So it's one, fit that into your, I don't know which exactly it is. It could be both, right? It's like you're revisiting some sort of past relationship, or still dealing with, perhaps still dealing with like the, I don't know, responsibilities of cleaning up some sort of past energy that's keeping you stuck, right? It's like you want to move on from this, but it's like there's still things to handle, or there's like a lot of new things that are are being put on your plate kind of thing. This could also be something like you're wanting to move towards this energy, especially because it's coming out with the singer of the chalice, which is like the unconditional love, right? Like you're wanting to be in the energy of unconditional love. That's your goal, what you're trying to move towards. But this, right? It's kind of difficult to, this is an energy where it's like, it's difficult to be in this energy when you're feeling this, right? So anyways, I feel like what this is talking about is that the abracadabra especially, it's kind of like it's pointing to something. All of these tasks, I want to say, that are being put on your plate. So I don't know exactly what that's going to be like, because I was just getting kind of like this energy of like having to deal with a lot of stuff, or like it's like you have a long list of things to do, but perhaps there's not a lot of motivation to do it, or it's just like a struggle or something like that. And it's because it's like it's trying to point you to something. There's something really common between all of those things, I want to say, right? It's like you have to connect the dots about what it is all of these tasks or things are trying to get you to look at. Because the next card to come out is the Solace, which is this energy of clarity, right? Clarity and like illumination. It's kind of like this aha moment. It's like once you finally see it, it's like, okay, I get it now, that kind of thing. Because it's kind of, especially with this abracadabra, it's coming through with kind of like connecting the dots, right? Or if like you know those sort of like illusion kind of things, like optical illusions, right? Where it's like sometimes it's like, what am I looking at? But then when you finally make that connection, it's like you can't unsee it now, right? There's that kind of thing. And then what's coming out next here is this. the Lorelei card, which is so interesting, and then the Four of Wands came out in reverse. So how I'm seeing this, the Lorelei card, I see as being sort of an energy that keeps you from leaving the space or environment that you're in, because it kind of brings in this energy of like, you cannot get off of this ship until this one says. And what what this is feeling like is kind of like the Four of Wands in reverse. I was seeing this as almost like turning your house upside down. Like, you know how when you like have, if you're not sure where to find something, you kind of just like flip everything over, that kind of thing. That's sort of what's coming through here. So it's kind of like, because you're not being permitted to leave this energy by an external influence, whatever that is, it's like, because you're not allowed to leave this space until you find that thing, until you get the clarity, is what this is feeling like, which seems so intense. I feel like it's not necessarily a person, right? It's not like a person is holding you captive or anything like that. It feels just like your guides really need you to find the gift, right? They really need you to go back and find that thing that you're forgetting, but it's like you don't know what you're forgetting, is what this is feeling like. The truth is there, right? Often with the Arvo parrot, this one talks about communication, but it's kind of like they don't speak your language, so you're kind of having to translate, or you have to like interpret in some way what your guides or the universe is trying to tell you by putting all of this discomfort in front of you, is kind of how it's feeling. It's like they're trying to get you to find the gift, whatever it is, which is really interesting because this card is coming out next, the Mythomancer, which talks about finding the patterns within sort of the micro elements, which reveals sort of a bigger truth about the macro elements, which is kind of like, if you were to study the pattern of mice, for example, it would reveal some sort of greater truth about the movement of the stars, which is really interesting with the abracadabra, right? It's like they're trying, the universe, let's say just broadly, is trying to get you to recognize some sort of pattern, a bigger pattern perhaps, by that has to do with something like much greater than you in some way. Like, so it's feeling like, because it kind of feels like with the undressing of the salad, there's some sort of personal, or it's just feeling like not taking things personally, but it just feels like there's like it just feels like you are being held captive, for example, by an energy that's outside of your control, and it's kind of feeling like, why is this happening? Or but it's not to punish you, it's not to like make you overwhelmed or anything, even though that may be kind of the answer. It's just like, not the answer. Maybe that may be how you're feeling, is overwhelmed by the amount of information or like the amount of things that are coming at you, when it's kind of like you would rather be moving on from the situation or something like that. But it's like this situation is not going to let go until you find what the pattern is. Which is really interesting, because you have here next the Ace of Pentacles, right? Which is the gift. It's like, this is the thing that you were missing. It's kind of feeling like when you like shake your clothes or something like that, right? You flip it upside down so that you can like empty your pockets, that kind of thing. That's what this is feeling like. So it's like this energy is, or this situation, that perhaps this retrograde is getting you to try and empty the pocket so that you can find that coin or the thing that you need in order to bring you into the next thing. And that's really important, because it's feeling like this, the next card to come out here is the Weaving Flowers, which is really interesting. And the Sleeping Beauty's Dream. These two cards coming out together, because they're all of them are threes, right? And also this Page of Cups. I'm not sure if that's relate, I'm just kind of looking at like the things on the head, right? There's because this Sleeping Beauty's dream, I often feel like it comes through as being sort of like either like a fog, like feeling unclear because there's like fogginess or like confusing thoughts, or just it's just kind of feeling like you're having to dig through the house metaphorically to find the gift. And it's like once you find it, it'll be the weaving flowers, because the weaving flowers to me talks about sort of like it talks about like your work and finding joy in it, but I feel like it's talking about something else today. I'm not exactly sure what that is. It just feels kind of like an explosion of some sort, of like an explosion of productivity, maybe. An explosion of productivity, especially because like you have the green woman coming out next, which I really love. The green woman. Because this energy talks about creativity, especially, and it always comes through this image of like, if you imagine concrete, right? Like, and there's like a crack in the concrete, right? The green women, or like the natural sort of world, the natural magic will find a way to break through the concrete, is what the green woman talks about. So I feel like that's what you're going to discover. It's kind of like, because this Lorelei energy is feeling like you're feeling stuck in a situation, you can't move, you can't escape to this energy. It's like, it's because the answer of how to get off this boat is somewhere in your pockets, and you need to like shake out all the pockets to find it, is what that's feeling like. And then once you find it, it's like this is like the key or the information or whatever it is in order to emerge from that sort of concrete energy, whatever that is. And it's also coming through interesting here with the Page of Cups, which I feel like it's kind of like something like, you know, people when because this kind of feels like an apology of some sorts with the Page of Cups, or just like admitting a mistake or something like that. It's kind of like coming through with this energy of like, you know, when you're hungry and then you sort of snap at somebody that you care about or something like that. And so like apologizing, like once you find, or like because you've lost something, right? Like because you don't know where this important thing is that you need. Perhaps there's this energy of like being snappy at other people. I don't know, Taurus. Take that if it resonates. But it's kind of or it could be something else, is like somebody else is coming to apologize to you, maybe. I don't know. But then you have next here like the Chariot and the Eight of Cups, which I feel like is talking about like once this thing is resolved and the new directions, you will be moving forward, right? That's what all of this is talking about. You're leaving behind whatever situation it is that's feeling stuck to you, and like being able to move forward with a new direction. But with the Wheel of Fortune and the Two of Swords coming out next, it's kind of like, this is the last two cards. It's kind of just emphasizing to me that there's like you cannot move on, or you cannot go to the next thing. The wheel is not going to turn until you find what this gift is that's in your house. Metaphorically, it's not necessarily your physical house, though. I'm maybe because the Ace of Pentacles, it does usually reference sort of a very physical thing, but of course there's always some sort of like spiritual tie about what that is. And with the Two of Swords, it's kind of like, I feel like you are leaning towards it, right? You're leaning towards it. It's not quite an indecision, because usually the Two of Swords are crossed, right? This one they're uncrossed, meaning that you are leaning towards the right direction. It's kind of just like you haven't looked closely enough yet, or there's still something that you're missing, is what it's coming through as. I feel like it's there though. That's the thing. It's like it'll be the retriever is here to help you find it. They're holding on to it for you, is kind of how it's feeling. It's absolutely there. It's not going to leave, right? It's somewhere in your house, metaphorically. So it's not something that you can, like, the opportunity is not going to pass you by, is kind of how it's feeling. But it is kind of like you do have to search for it in some way. But it is absolutely there. And I feel like it may not even be something that's like, because you have here the Four of Cups as well, right? It's not obvious. It's like these are the things that are in front of you. But the thing that you're actually looking for is like, you have to look in a different way, or it's almost like perhaps you're looking too closely, or it's like you have to look at a different scale, is kind of how it's coming through, especially with the Mythomancer, right? This is talking about scale and the abracadabra, because it could be that you're looking too closely at the individual parts, but perhaps not putting together the bigger picture, maybe. Okay, Taurus, I'm going to leave it there. We're going to go to the extended and talk about what else you may need to know about this situation. If you're interested, the link is in the description box below. If this message resonated with you, please consider subscribing, liking, or leaving a comment. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.